Hey, this is David Arquette, and you are listening to Hollywood Babble-On. Stay tuned, baby.
You know what I love about you?
What up, Marty?
David, I love your energy, man. I got to tell you. In everything you do, you bring the energy. So we appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Hey, so tell us about the Nosebleed. Did you go to Cannes? I know that the movie was at Cannes. Did you go as well?
No, I didn't go to Cannes. I didn't.
What's up with that? Why wouldn't you go?
Work. I know. You know, I'm not sure exactly. My schedule was a little packed. You know, I got a busy month here, and so it just wasn't really the right timing.
I
decided against it.
You had a paid gig.
I didn't have a paid gig, but my daughter's birthday is this month, my anniversary, my wife's birthday, and the Lakers are in the finals. Just certain things.
David, you've got a lot of pressure on you. You got so much pressure on you, you're feeling pressure about the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a really crazy party thing. I don't know. I want to go there if I direct something that ever gets in, or if it's a big feature film that I star in or something.
Yeah.
I love Nosebleed. It's a short film, and it's amazing. He did an amazing job, my friend Jeff Vespa. But I don't know, going all the way over there, I wasn't sure about it.
It just didn't make sense.
I kind of regret it, but...
No regrets, man. No
regrets.
regrets. Although we may be regretting the Lakers last night. I got to tell you, man. They won, and yet I felt like I lost because I'm not feeling real comfortable with the way Lamar Odom is playing, and I don't see how they beat him unless that guy gets his butt in gear.
Well, I think he's almost been like the most solid of them all. Like through this whole thing, he got in some foul trouble early yesterday, so they kept him out a lot. But I don't know. He's been playing great. To me, it's like just all has to come together. Once they win a couple more, then hopefully they'll just win one more. I really think that the powers that be want to see Game 7. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be called really, unless somebody has a blowout game and just like destroys the other team. The refs are kind of
in the bag.
They're manipulating it.
You're buying into the Donaghy conspiracy theory that they've already decided that there will be a Game 7 by hook or by crook?
I kind of do. I do kind of buy that. I think there's always a factor that someone could play incredible and win regardless. But I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I know it means millions and millions of dollars too.
Yeah, well, fortunately for you, I am a conspiracy theorist, and I agree, because how do you have they play in Boston, and they have the referees call everything on the Lakers. They can't do anything without a foul, and now you move to L.A. and it's the other way around. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But the whole world doesn't make any sense right now, David.
It's wild.
So
it doesn't. It's crazy. The world's crazy right now. I want everybody to chill out, and we all gotta just have a little fun.
Just chill, man.
That's so bad.
Now, speaking of not making any sense, let's talk about Nosebleed, because that movie, is it's a non-linear, abstract film that is great, and it's only 10 minutes long. So I think, it's like in this day and age, people cannot sit still for anything that isn't A, B, C, D, but when it's 10 minutes, they're willing to go on a ride. And I really think, for me, I've seen most everything you've done. Not that I'm stalking you. Take it easy, David. But
I'm all right. I'm not scared, Marty.
I really thought that it was maybe your best performance, because I liked that you were contained. You were contained, and you looked handsome, and you really filled up the screen, and you really had this great presence, and then you had bursts of energy, and I really liked it, and I would like to see more of that in future films.
Well, thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. I'll definitely take that to heart. It is a wild film, and and it's crazy. I mean, when I read it, I was like, wow, Jeff, what are you doing? What is this about?
Right.
And he said, well, I wrote it when I was in the midst of getting a divorce. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So now it's, it's a divorce. It's about a breakup, a loss, death, heartbreak. So that made a lot of sense. Once that was clear, it made a lot more sense. So a lot of the sort of symbolic stuff has to play on that, to that sort of tone.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be at the Egyptian Theater for the Holly Shorts Festival opening on August 7th, and I think that's going to be an awesome thing to go to. And I know Josh Brolin's film's going to be there, and I believe Jennifer Beals' film's going to be there. So it's going to be really a great venue to see that. I think all the industry people that are going to be there, I think are going to be blown away seeing you in that, and they're going to see you differently. So I think it's a great thing for you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love Josh, and I'm a big fan of those people, so that's cool to be included with all of them.
Yeah. Now let's talk about. I went now the weren't you a little blown away by Vespa having this premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater for a 10-minute short film, and they had rope lines, and there was paparazzi, and there were all these stars walking around, and it was like, what the hell is it? It's a 10-minute movie, and it was like a major premiere, and everybody came in, and then there's a party across the street at the Roosevelt Hotel.
I know. It was insane. I kept telling him, this is insane. I don't have people like this turn out to, major studio movies. But
I can't get my parents to come to mine.
It was amazing. Jeff's the doer. I'm telling you, I can't get a friend to show up to anything. But yeah, Jeff's really he's great at getting the word out and throwing a good party, and I actually have a short film that I directed that I'm going to follow his lead and do a big premiere. And
what's the film?
It's in 3D. It's called The Butlers in Love, and it's based on a painting that I saw in San Francisco, and I had my friend write a story about it, and I shot it up in San Francisco, starring my brother and Thomas Jane and Jennifer Siebel and Elizabeth Berkley. It's really cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Movie myself.
Well, that's cool, and
then my wife as well. My wife had just directed a glamour real moments short where glamour gets together and they allow these women to direct their first thing and provide all the sort of the thing for them.
Oh, really?
It was cool. It's really, it's great to do shorts because you can have a lot of, you can experiment and you can learn and grow, and it's cool.
Well, it's great especially for somebody like you, because you have this network of celebrity friends, and it's easy to ask them to do it, and they know you, and you can experiment, and it's great for festivals and that type of thing because people really want to see it, and it's tough because when I do it and I show up at your door, they say, "Who the hell are you, man? Go away." So you got to ride that thing, and you and your wife have a great business relationship, going back and forth, supporting each other, and I think it's unique in Hollywood because you both seem to get it, whereas most of the celebrity couples, they really don't, man. And the relationships last 6 months. I don't get how somebody dates somebody for 30 days and says, "I'm marrying you." I was way too marriage phobic to ever even consider that. I don't get it. Do you?
No, me too. Yeah, it takes a lot, any relationship takes a lot of work, and just understanding each other, and just being good to each other, and being there for each other, and prioritizing honesty and all those things that make it a strong relationship. So yeah, we work on it, and I love her. She's my best friend, and makes it easy to even when we get upset with each other, we just kind of get mad at each other and deal with it.
No, you never argue. You guys never argue. She walks around in gowns, and you just crack jokes every day. And you guys never go to the grocery store.
I thought marriage meant. By the way, I'm Justin, producer with Marty. I thought marriage meant that you basically never argue and have sex all the time.
Boy, did
wow!
You yeah, you and me both, brother, man.
That's probably what most people in Hollywood think. It's why they get married really quickly and find out the hard way that it's work.
Well, I think a lot of it is.
It's not hard. It's great.
No, but I think a lot of it is they get a lot of great attention. They get a lot of great attention and photographers, and everybody tells them they're beautiful and wonderful, and then they do it. And now once you're in it, it's real life. The party's over, and now you're actually living with that person, and the fact that they're breathing every morning may seem to irritate you after a while. But that's just me. That's just my view. But now listen, I went to your horror film. Was it about a year ago? Maybe it was a little longer, at the Chinese Theater, and it was at a festival, and it was called The Tripper, right?
Yes, it sure was.
Yeah, and I had a good time with that film. And there was a great crowd that came on out and supported you, and was really into it, and had a good time. How did you come about making that? And you directed that too, and I think you wrote it as well, didn't you?
I did. I wrote it with a friend of mine, a guy named Joe Harris, a really great writer. And, I directed it. It was my first thing. I got all my friends in it, and everybody showed up for the premiere. It was really cool. We had a premiere there at Screen Fest, this horror film festival, but then we also had the real premiere for it was in a graveyard in the Hollywood cemetery.
Oh, right next to Paramount?
And we screened it on the side of a mausoleum. It was the best premiere party ever. It was so much fun. And
wow.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. It's coming out on Showtime in a couple months or something, so a lot more people will be able to see it.
Oh,
it's
great.
on DVD. But, yeah, it was cool. I just did this crazy movie, The Tripper, just political satire, just to have fun,
And you had Pee Wee Herman in it. Now,
Paul Rubens.
I'm sure he's thrilled with me saying Pee Wee Herman, but Paul Rubens is
he is cool with that stuff. He sometimes I'll call him up and with my daughter, and he'll put on the voice.
Really? That's a great one to mess with the kid. That's a great one. Now,
that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, speaking of kids, because I got some inside info on you, and the info is that you collect costumes. Now,
I do.
That's all I know. I don't know what kind of freaking costume. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you go as a warlock on Wednesdays, or they're at parties, or if they're B&D costumes.
I don't know where I can wear them to. It's crazy. I don't know where exactly to wear them. I mean, my last one is probably going to be my my Halloween costume.
Right.
The one I bought recently is a real costume of Macho Man Randy Savage.
No. Now you're getting older.
Macho Man costume.
You're getting older because I guarantee, the 18-year-old people, they have no idea who Macho Man Randy Savage is.
Well,
do they even know Hulk Hogan anymore?
I mean,
who's the new WWF?
They do now because he's getting in all kinds of trouble. There's a bunch of, they're still out there.
Bite into a Slim Jim.
WWF.
Well, I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to love those commercials. Step into a Slim Jim.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember a few years back, wrestling was pretty mainstream. And, David, I believe you had that movie come out revolving around wrestling, and even did a stint in professional wrestling for a while. Is that where you kind of got into the whole costume thing, or were you into costumes before that?
Oh, I was into costumes before that. I collect, old, they're called nudie suits. They're old Western wear. It's it's stitched and it has sequins in it, and it's just crazy. This tailor named Nudie was a pretty amazing guy, and he did these crazy suits, so you can find them sometimes on eBay or whatever.
I know a strip bar where they wear those. I don't know.
That's how it started. Oh, yeah.
And she comes out in a Western wear with rhinestones.
Yeah. But there's nowhere to wear that kind of junk. So.
Now, what does your daughter think when she sees you with the costumes? What does she say? Does she get a kick out of it?
She doesn't really. Yeah, she doesn't really. Doesn't shock her or anything.
Well, you come from a showbiz family. You got a showbiz wife, and I imagine. That's a different environment for a kid growing up in. My dad was a plumber, you know what I mean? So I had a different upbringing, but I imagine being around that, you get a different perspective. And why would you be shocked at costuming when mom's wearing a costume and dad's in a movie wearing a costume? It's probably pretty normal.
Right, exactly. Yeah, my grandfather was a comedian. His name was Charlie Weaver. He was on the old Hollywood Squares.
Charlie Weaver the Block!
Tonight Show with Jack Barr.
Charlie Weaver the Block.
That was him, and he used to wear this sort of crushed hat and suspenders and like an uneven tie. That was his whole character. So, yeah, we've always been into that stuff. It's kind of wild. It's crazy.
I didn't know that was your grandfather. I thought that was your father.
No, that's my grandfather. My father's name's Louis Arquette. His name was Cliff Arquette.
Oh, I see. All right. So,
my father was an improvisational actor, and among other things.
Well, now, the thing that's interesting to me about your family is, and you seem to get it, because I think, for me, the difficulty is I see, especially a lot of the films that are being made, all the large tentpole movies, everybody wants to make the money, everybody wants to be famous, but everybody in your family seems to take chances and do arty films, entertaining films, and I think at a certain point, how much money do you need? I mean, if you have the house, the car, you can't spend it all. I mean, I guess you can, but, if you're a reasonable person, why wouldn't you want to go try new things, test yourself, do things that you're proud of? And whether it's your sisters or you or your wife, it seems to me that everybody's stepping out trying to do things that they enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a wild business. It's hard to tell, like, when you're doing something, if it's going to be really cool or if it, you never know how it's going to turn out, like how the whole package comes together. So you can try to work it, like try to figure out, work with good actors and good directors and, all this other kind of stuff. But it's just hard to tell. There's so many variables. So, I just try to find parts that I enjoy and directors I want to work with. And, I've been turning down a lot of stuff when it's not sort of what I want to do. I don't know. I don't want to do anything where I'm kind of like, well, it's all right. It's just not the greatest feeling in the world. So I want to try to, find the right projects that I truly believe in or develop things that I believe in and work on things that I have fun and enjoy. It's not really, I'm not motivated by financial gain.
But I mean, if you've got the money, at a certain point, why wouldn't you do things that turn you on? And if it doesn't turn you on, what's the point to doing it? Just so you can have your face on a screen? I don't get it, but most of the people don't make that choice. They just don't.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people, like, they find their niche, you know what I mean? Like, they find, like, what works and how people see them. It's kind of a battle to, like, get people to see you a different way or try to do different stuff. Like, you do different stuff and it doesn't get seen. It's kind of frustrating. So, right now it's like, exactly that. You got to do what you believe in.
Well, I want to
work into stuff that you want.
I want to know how your wife as producer and that whole crew talk Rick Fox, Mr. Laker, into getting naked on that TV show and having a girl go at him with the strap on. That's what I want to know. I saw that and I was like, what the heck? Rick, I didn't know ya. I thought I knew ya. Who talked you into? Whose agent said, this is the career move for you? This is where you want to be? But he did it. He did.
It actually was a good move for him because it's like it shows you're gutsy, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a real deal. Like he loves acting, and he's really good at it. And he's a talented guy. He's really smart. He's like, you know, he's developing projects and working with writers, and he's the real deal. He, you know, worked with just had a bigger movie come out recently, and you know, he's doing his thing. So I got nothing but respect for Rick Fox. He's really the best.
Well,
and he just, you know, he wanted to do it. He wanted to take a chance, and you know, whenever you do something like that, I did a movie called Johnson. I played a street hustler, and you know, I go down on a guy in a scene, and I put this condom in my mouth and kind of just lean over and then bend down, and you know, you don't do anything for real, but just that, like, just acting like that or showing that much was so shocking to people that, you know, people are kind of funny when things are sort of out of their comfort zone.
Man, it's getting hard to shock people now. I mean, I don't know if you caught the new CBS series Swingtown. My wife turned it on I think it was this past week, and it looked like an HBO show, and it's about a regular family that moves in on a block in the 70s. I think it's suburbs of Chicago, and everybody's swinging on the block, and there's an orgy and a threesome, and it's like the first 5 minutes of the show, and they're showing people going at it naked. I thought it was HBO. It was CBS.
It's actually based around my life. It's my autobiography on television.
I'm sure you're a legend.
I know.
Yeah, David.
It's crazy. It's totally nuts. I mean, it's great though that network television is doing some sort of more sort of adult stuff. I mean, not, you know, you don't want it to be too crazy when kids can just flip it on. But
did you ever think you'd hear yourself say that?
The cues off FX.
Did you?
I know.
Did you
when
ever
you have a
think
kid, it's totally different?
Did you ever think that would be the qualifier that you'd say, yeah, it's really great, but you know they should put it on an hour later for the kids? You never thought that would come out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you won't believe it. I mean, it definitely changes the way you look at certain things.
Hey, all I know is
I wouldn't do certain projects anymore.
You get older, and I'm outside the other day, and I'm worried about my tomato plant, and I'm literally thinking to myself, at what point in my life did my tomato plant become the center of my weekend? Oh, wow, I've really hit a downturn.
You know, that's good stuff, though. You run around as kids and just, you know, get into trouble and all that. But then when you discover the joy of growing a tomato and really, you know, embrace that side, it's something really cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing better than spending the day with my kid and my wife, you know, and just like doing something cool and just being together. It's great.
Now, is that tough for you going on out? Because my celebrity friends, sometimes it's a little tough for them. You know, they go on out and they're never sure who's their friend, really their friend, or who's butting up. And then some people, they're very nice and they just feel like they know you and they feel comfortable walking up and at improper times sometimes. And sometimes it just makes it tough to go to the grocery store. So how do you guys deal with that kind of popularity? And because you guys are very cool with your fans, I know that, but there's got to be times where you just want to slink in and you know, get a six-pack of beer and slink back out and not, you know, have to hold court.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little dodgy. I mean, there's a whole new wave of kind of paparazzi out there that, you know, I'm starting to kind of, last weekend there was like a helicopter out taking pictures of our house.
Hello? You there?
It looks as though we lost Mr. Arquette.
Uh-oh. Got to get him back.
Got to get him back.
Because I want to hear, actually, the end of the story, and I want him to say goodbye. So hopefully we'll get him back. So we're waiting on David Arquette to come back. What a nice guy. It's nice when somebody comes on and they're a regular.
Really big aspect of ego that plays into being that famous. But I don't know. I just like to. I'm an easy guy. I like to have fun. I don't like to make waves. You know.
Well, you're low key, man, in everything that I've ever seen yet. I don't think you own a tie, so you're not exactly Mr. Pretentious. Like you show up in shorts and thongs.
I love a tie though. That goes back to my costume.
Yeah. Well,
I love a tie.
That's called one extreme or another. Either you show up in shorts and thongs, or you're a Roman
gladiator. The person you're trying to
gladiator.
reach is not available. Please leave a message after the beep.
What the hell is that?
Hello.
Suddenly we're in London.
I don't know.
Wow.
My God.
No, what happened?
You slinked into your operator costume and you went into an accent. Nice.
Oh, my goodness.
So, well, at any rate, David, I appreciate you coming on. Can you do us a favor and do a station break for the show? That this is David Arquette and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On? And just know this.
Sure can.
We had Willem Dafoe on a couple of weeks ago. And you would have thought that I asked, like I was selling the guy an insurance policy or something. What is it for? What are you going to do with it? How long will it be on? He's saying this to me on the air, and it's like, geez, Kevin Smith came on, and I couldn't get the guy to shut up. He was improv.
We asked the guy about his current project, and he's like, I don't really like to talk about my films.
Yeah, what do you do about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy came on to talk about his movie, and he says, I really don't like to talk about my films. I said, well, this is going to be a short conversation because I don't know where to go with that. Where do you come from? I don't like to talk about the past. Okay, we're out of there. Can you talk about the future? Well, I'd rather not. Okay. Great talking to you, Willem. So, but he's a good guy.
Is that it? Was it a really quick interview?
It was, and I got the guy laughing a little bit, so he warmed up, but it sounded like he was in pain the whole time. I felt bad having the guy on. So
it was actually like 40 minutes of Dafoe pleading the fifth on everything.
On everything, on anything I asked him.
Can you confirm that you are in fact Willem Dafoe? I really don't like to talk about that.
Well, I think he just got married. He married an Italian woman, so I said, she's an Italian woman. Yeah. It's like you want to make something out of it? It's like, no, it's conversation. I can't talk about your film, your past films. I asked him about people that he worked with at other films, and he suddenly was saying, I don't like to revisit those relationships, and it's not fair to them because they're not here. And it's like, well, I didn't ask you to say anything negative. I just asked you what it's like working with Robert De Niro. Yes. No.
Right,
okay.
No,
it was rough, man. You wonder sometimes how people got into showbiz because, it's all about people and interaction and all of that. Some people are just very uncomfortable with it, which I find remarkable.
And on the contrary, I want to point out, Mr. Arquette, that I think you've been an awesome guest. It's been up.
I'm sure that we'll give you a second to let the goose pimples go down. I'm sure that means a lot to him to know that he scored.
Good guy
on Hollywood Babble-On.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, my wife actually interviewed your wife for Time Magazine. Was it Time Magazine? Or maybe it was Redbook. I don't know. It was Time Magazine or Redbook.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, and she loved you guys and thought and came home and she meets with everybody and some people are more friendly than others and she was really almost taken aback by how friendly and real you guys were. So it's that's the kind of effect you have on people, man. It's a good one.